All right. Good morning, Eugene. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. So I'm really excited to chat with you this morning. So you are a Caesars Palace gaming accountant veteran. You've been working there for almost 7 years in various roles. So tell us a little bit about that career progression working for Caesars.
Yeah. So I got my master's degree, and then right out of getting my MBA, I got the accounting role at Caesars, and I first started doing entry level type things like learning how journal entries work and how to put reconciliations together. And then after about like roughly 3.5 years of doing that, I got promoted to senior accountant role because I took on a lot of projects involving automation.
Okay.
So I taught myself how to code in VBA, and I took charge of the department's Excel VBA automations, maintaining them. And then I took on requests to build automations for different departments as well. So I branched outside of my own department. And
Okay.
then a year into that senior role where I was in charge of automation, I actually gained over 10 direct reports, and these direct reports do a lot of different gaming audits that are highly regulated. So they do attribute testing on making sure that people have the correct signatures on inventory forms, on drop forms. So those are like revenue drops, like for table games, for slots, and other gaming areas.
Wow.
They
Okay.
also do. I'm also responsible for making sure that the ATM reconciliation is properly maintained and conducted, and that team does that as well. And we actually have two check-ins for that every week to make sure that we don't lose any money. And it's very time sensitive and fast paced.
Understood. So now you said you have 10 direct reports in that department, correct?
Yes, that's right.
All right, fantastic. Now, you are currently working in like a hybrid type of environment, or are you on site at the facility?
So there is an option for hybrid, but because the team with those 10 direct reports, they have a lot of physical paperwork. So they
Okay,
actually come into the office every day. So I go into the office every day to help them.
fantastic. And what computer software programs are you accustomed to using in an accounting sense, unless, or are they proprietary specifically to Caesars?
So I am used to Oracle ERP. That's what we use.
Okay, great.
We also use Excel for most of our audits, journal entries. Um, I'm used to using, Microsoft Suite every day.
Okay. All right, fantastic. And you said you do have full cycle accounting experience in addition to the auditing as well, too, correct?
Yes, I do. So every month we have like a month-end close process. It's pretty common, and we do our journal entries, and then we do end-to-end. From there, we do reconciliations, and we certify those recs, make sure all the accounts are good.
All right, fantastic. And in your senior level role, who do you report to?
I report to a director of gaming accounting.
All right. And how many folks are in? I know you said you oversee 10 individuals, but how many others
Mhm.
are in your department?
There's one other senior who helps out with those 10 as well, and we have an additional two accountants under both of us too.
Okay. All
So
right.
actually, it's more like 12 people, but
Okay. Fantastic. Now, at this stage in your career, what's the most important thing to you about the next company that you work for?
for me, it's flexibility. Um, so getting something more some remote work would be nice. Work-life balance is important, and then location-wise, if it means that I can move out east, or if there's remote flexibility that will allow me to move back east, that's my goal.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So now I've got to ask. So, on average, obviously, you're dealing with a lot of money coming and
Yeah.
going from Caesars. Let's talk a little bit about that cash flow and what that looks like on a daily basis.
Yeah, so actually, when I was just first starting as a regular accountant, eventually I was given the trust and responsibility to manage the Caesar's Palace flagship property that we have, and that inventory is over $500 million.
Wow.
Most of it is chips, But now as a senior, responsible, we have like 20 entities total that we as seniors are responsible for. So even if we're not physically doing the journal entries and the account reconciliations for those, at the end of the day, we're responsible to make sure that that day-to-day inventory is taken care of for all of those entities.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now you also mentioned when we were chatting off of the recording in regards to handling the cash at the cashier's
Yep.
counters.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit about that process.
So I see so my department is the cage department, and they have a main bank at the casino, and it's located in that cage through the cashier's window. And so guests can go in there and they can exchange their chips for cash, or they can get chips out of there, and they can do like front money deposits into the casino for use at like the tables or slots to basically do casino play. And they also have markers that the cage gives out, so we can give credit to the guests, and that ends up being account receivable that
Okay.
we're responsible for reconciling every month. And if we don't receive money from the guests, then it becomes a collections process. And we're also responsible for making sure that all of the activity for collections is properly recorded every month as well.
All right. Fantastic.
And I'm also actually leading the collections process right now for the past few months because we got a new hire, and then I'm training her on how to do the collections entries as well.
Now, when you're handling that type of level of collections, obviously this isn't, hey, Mr. Jones, you didn't pay your cell phone bill. You got to give us a call because you're in traffic. There obviously is probably a certain level of couth that you need to take when
Yeah,
you're dealing with these like high, I guess, high rollers, you say. So tell me a little bit about that process if you guys are having to go into that collection side and how you manage those
sure,
types of
sure.
accounts.
So we don't contact the guests directly ourselves in our department. Even another department that does that part, and then they process the payments and stuff. But
Yep.
we are responsible for the accounting side of it and
Gotcha.
making sure that all the activity that collections did, they are they did it correctly. So they processed all the payments correctly. They processed all the returns, make sure that what we're supposed to receive as our revenue is correct.
Gotcha.
And yeah, we have to be very diligent, and we have to balance out from end to end, like the from the last month's ending balance to what this month's ending balance should be, and itemize every single item and make sure that every payment was there.
Now, so you also do probably a ton of financial analyst work as well too as you're digging into these accounts.
So in the sense that it's very detail oriented, and it goes a lot of the investigation is line by line, a lot of use of logic, and combination of using automations to make sure that everything was done correctly. Yes.
Fantastic. All right, my friend. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and chat with you a little bit more if that sounds good.
Okay, sure.